Welcome back to our channel, where we provide updates and undisclosed narratives on Catherine, Princess of Wales, and her royal family. We provide you with the exciting news: William and Catherine are in tears at Prince George's stunning transformation. This week, Kensington Palace released a new photograph to commemorate Prince George's 12th birthday. This was a minor but consequential alteration for the House of Windsor. Fashion portrait photographer Josh Schinner captured this image of the heir to the throne reclining against a historic wooden gate on the breezy grounds of Anmer Hall. His blue and white checkered shirt is unbuttoned at the sleeves, and a khaki gilet mitigates the Norfolk air. A handcrafted friendship bracelet adorns his wrist, evoking recollections of childhood among the gravity of his family's past. The prince's smile is more composed and self-assured than the broad grin he displayed on his birthday. This may indicate that the safe sphere of childhood is yielding to something more significant. The palace published a 28-second behind-the-scenes film with George guiding Princess Charlotte, 10, and Prince Louis, 7, down a rural path in a simulated procession. The siblings tumble, laugh, and ultimately collapse into a heap that any parent, regardless of status, would recognize. The video garnered over 14 million views on X, TikTok, and Instagram within 6 hours of its release. The post received several emojis and comments, including nostalgic recollections of George's debut at the Lindo Wing and speculations of impending growth spurts throughout adolescence. The substantial reaction indicates the extent to which Welsh children have integrated into the global social media dialogue, despite their parents' attempts to regulate that exposure. Schinner's decision to use Catherine's camera rather than her own signifies the start of a new chapter. Following the completion of chemotherapy in February, the Princess of Wales resumed her official duties. Since then, she has captured images to commemorate numerous familial occasions, like Mother's Day, Easter, and Father's Day. By engaging a renowned specialist for the 12th birthday shot, the palace subtly shifts the emphasis from intimate familial warmth to a meticulously curated public persona. This indicates that the palace wants the nation and the Commonwealth to acclimate to seeing George in a more official manner. Constitutional difficulties arise at reaching the age of 12. For over 50 years, the unspoken guideline for royal travel dictates that the first and second in line to the throne must not travel together by air after the younger individual reaches the age of 18. The objective is unequivocal: no one misfortune should result in the loss of 2 monarchs consecutively from the crown. In 1994, Prince William traveled independently of his father for the first time. This was an unusual method for individuals at the time to distinguish themselves, however today is a conventional aspect of royal risk management. Henceforth, family air travel will need either distinct aircraft or official authorization from the king. Individuals in proximity to the Prince and Princess of Wales indicate that the couple want to travel together while their children are in school. Nonetheless, constitutional experts caution that precedent seldom changes without repercussions. This decision juxtaposes George's own parenting instincts with the formidable influence of a millennium-old institution. Education represents a significant juncture. George has just one more academic year at Lambrook, the Berkshire Preparatory School, where he relishes dormitory pillow fights and muddy football fields with his younger siblings. 3 other paths are competing for consideration. William and a cadre of old Etonian advisors instinctively consult Eton College, whose crenellated walls have safeguarded prominent leaders and, crucially, their own memories of adolescence that were impervious to public scrutiny. Individuals aspiring to enroll alongside the royal family are already competing for positions for September 2026, prompting palace insiders to anticipate an announcement by Christmas. The victorious college will not only educate a future monarch, but will also serve as the nucleus for those poised to assume several court posts in the future. The prince's personal life is influenced by the image and the educational issue, while his public existence is only starting. In May, George attended the 80th anniversary of VE Day with his parents. He provided tea to World War II soldiers and inquired extensively about life aboard a U-boat. The unplanned but earnest talk prompted many to reflect on Prince William's early fascination with RAF helicopters, leading many to surmise that the future monarch may be influenced by a profound reverence for military service. 1 month later, at Trooping the Colour, George positioned himself between Charlotte and Louis on the balcony of Buckingham Palace. As Louis's enthusiastic greeting risked escalating into an irate one, George quietly issued a calming directive that his brother seemed to heed. The gesture was swift and practically imperceptible among the cacophony of RAF flyovers, but protocol watchers saw the unmistakable confidence of a successor already acquainted with the operational intricacies of its most visible ceremonies. In July, a significant cameo occurred at Wimbledon Centre Court. Following Yannick Sinner's receipt of the trophy as the men's champion, George courteously approached him and asked a signed ball to present to Louis upon his return home. The Wimbledon organizers, who have welcomed several royal guests over the years, were delighted by the camaraderie shown among the youth. Children capable of transitioning from relaxed family interactions to the rapid formality required by broadcast sports in few seconds are seldom seen. Each of these engagements constitutes an additional lesson in a teenager schedule, which is already replete with Latin verbs and mathematical tasks. Nonetheless, each individual also depicts a man whose self-perception is beginning to align with his sense of duty. Group chats with godparents and family are secured with end-to-end encryption. Each term, a duo of experts from the Center for Humane Technology visits Lambrook to instruct students on the utilization of social media. Dr. Aaron Patel, a prominent adolescent psychologist, appreciates the strategy's emphasis on prevention. Nonetheless, he warns that social media platforms are particularly addicting throughout the ages of 12 to 14. He states, "Even princes can become ensnared in a vortex of likes and comparisons if their offline identities lack robustness." Family serves as the current anchor. Catherine's public struggle with cancer has provided her 2 sons and 1 daughter with a first-hand lesson in resilience. During the March Commonwealth Day service, her first significant event post-chemotherapy, observers saw George aligning himself exactly 1 stride behind her. This was a tacit recognition of his mother's elevated status and a clear indication of his understanding of courtly dynamics. William privately refers to his eldest son as the morale officer, praising George for organizing Marvel movie marathons on evenings when his mother was particularly fatigued. Such scenes seldom penetrate the palace's pristine facade, but they articulate the public's need for genuineness from an institution mostly defined by formality. George's life remains very ordinary, despite residing in royal residences. Lambrook colleagues remark that this midfield dynamo can recite Aston Villa numbers with the passion of an encyclopedia. Acquaintances invited to Anma Hall recall protracted debates lasting an hour on whether a Lego engine ought to propel a model lifeboat or a Mars probe. George wanted the rover to triumph. This month, the gilet shown served dual duties during a family holiday in Kefalonia. The prince rehearsed Greek vocabulary with his maternal grandfather, Michael Middleton, and acquired the skill of navigating a small sailing dinghy in tranquil Ionian coves. Robert Hardman, a royal biographer, argues that these little instances of normality serve not just as an escape, he replies, they are oxygen. Adolescence is inherently challenging. When compounded by the responsibilities of kingship, it becomes evident why George requires the opportunity to fail, stumble, and recover. Allow him to fail a Latin examination, she states. It is preferable to experience disappointment in an academic setting under controlled circumstances rather than to encounter significant disappointment later in life. Colonel Stuart Palmer, a retired educator from Sandhurst, anticipates a brief commissioning course for George in his early 20s. Palmer said, "He is already inquiring of veterans. Place him in a scenario requiring tactical decision-making and he will excel." The analytics firm CrowdTangle indicates that popular sentiment is mostly positive. Country gilet, friendship bracelet, cheekbones resembling his father's, Gen Z monarch approaching, said a widely circulated post. Another individual reflected on the rapid passage of time. It appears as though it was merely yesterday that we were awaiting outside the Lindo wing. He has surpassed the height of the photographers. In a time when the monarchy needs to consistently justify its value, this type of grassroots backing is a major issue. The line of succession has both legal and emotional authority. Courtiers discuss a strategy that prioritizes character development first and reserves spectacle for later. In reality, this signifies a greater incidence of rugby injuries than glamorous events in the next year, while also suggesting several significant occurrences ahead. The selection of a senior school will be paramount in the spring. A brief humanitarian expedition with one parent is scheduled for early summer. An RAF simulator day at Valley is being proposed for the autumn. Aides anticipate that George would assume his first charity patronage prior to his 13th birthday, presumably pertaining to veterans' mental health, reflecting his previous interest during the VE Day celebration. History has both cautionary tales and inspiring instances. At the age of 12, Edward VIII said that he felt constrained by fate. This sentiment foreshadowed his departure 2 decades later. At the same age, Elizabeth delivered a radio address to Britain's evacuated children during the war, demonstrating the composure that would define her reign. George will encounter further challenges, including climate change, artificial intelligence, and the Commonwealth's negotiation of its post-imperial identity. Nonetheless, the guidance for his preparation is consistent. Provide him with reliable mentors, provide him glimpses of excellence without compromising his childhood, and normalize the extraordinary. The birthday photographed serves as both a record and a metaphor. The wooden gate may originate from any English farm. Nonetheless, its exquisite craftsmanship serves as a reminder that this ordinary youth is destined to inherit a lineage spanning a millennium. The bracelet signifies a discreet commitment to retain a fragment of his childhood as he matures. The subtle crease of seriousness at the periphery of his smile indicates his awareness of what he is relinquishing. Prince George is at a pivotal juncture in his life. One hand remains on the latch of his untroubled boyhood, while the other prepares to bear the burden of a scepter he will not wield for decades. The manner in which he manages that door in the next year will reveal much about the kind of king he will become upon emerging from it. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts, and goodbye for now.